So last Thursday, if you don't know what happened, Conor McGregor went nuts, brought a bunch of Irishmen over from Ireland to beat up some. No, they were all from Ireland. They came from Ireland, flew over the pond, the Atlantic Ocean. Absolutely thugs, as Dana White painted them as to be, and they beat up some people. They threw dollies in the glass. They wreaked havoc. They got arrested, and Conor McGregor got 3 fights canceled off the UFC card just based on the glass that broke through the window. He almost ruined the Rose Namajunas Joanna Jędrzejczyk match that was essentially the main event of that whole pay-per-view with what happened with the main event. We'll talk about that in a second too. But, man, guys, how does this affect Conor McGregor's career? Is this Dana White said it was a bad career move. I think this is just the start of an epic rivalry with Khabib Nurmagomedov.
I think this is fantastic.
Yeah.
I think Conor McGregor is getting that title fight. The next matchup, I think you've got to build this up. If Dana White is like Vince McMahon, and if he's getting his stuff from Vince McMahon, and he's saying to himself, I want ratings. I'm a ratings whore. I'm going to be able to be I want pay-per-view buys. If he's saying that in the back of his mind, I'm going to put Conor McGregor and that matchup in the main event, the next pay-per-view, and give him that title shot and let Conor McGregor and Dana White. You don't even have to build anything between old boy and Conor McGregor. I can't say his name, so I'm not going to attempt to say his name.
Let's say Khabib.
Okay, Khabib. Okay? Yeah. You don't have to build anything between them. It's just got to be purely the storylines between Dana White and freaking Conor McGregor. And that's why I think that this could be, ladies and gentlemen, a work.
A work. I remember you saying that to me because, a lot of people say, Conor, why'd you do this? Conor, why'd you do that? You're letting down your fans. Hold up a second. When you say that you're letting down your fans, not really, because I'm looking at this. It's more of a publicity stunt. And another thing is that this guy, Conor, he's also a businessman. He knows how to promote. So what better way to promote his next fight by throwing dollies at a bus and also, injuring most of the guys on the bus? What better way? And yes, it is unprofessional what he did. It was unprofessional, but there are a lot of people in the UFC community who said that. But come on, guys, like, are you serious? Like, he's gonna bail out. He's gonna get out of jail. Just watch. He's going to get out.
Well, he's got a court hearing in June, so something will happen. I doubt they put him in jail or anything like that or send him to prison. I mean, it was assault, but you got to understand the circumstances. He's not a normal dude. And a lot of people might find that as a weird comment to make, but
I mean, it's the truth.
It's the truth. It's why Hulk Hogan would be allowed to come back to the WWE. We were just talking about after saying the racist comments. It's like, when someone is that much of an icon in their whatever they're doing, they get certain things because people still want to see them. If you're in demand, you can do things that are dumb. It's why the Jackass guys are so popular. How stupid have they, like, some of the stuff they've done? But
incredibly
everyone
stupid.
loves them. If they come out with a 4th movie, man, we're all going to go see it, and they're going to break the box office. They're going to be number 1. Yeah. So it doesn't matter. And Conor McGregor, I think, I don't know necessarily if it was a work. I think he actually was that mad, and I think he wanted to wreak havoc. And I don't think this was planned or anything with Dana White. But think about this, and we talk about privileges. Dana White goes, he even said, our relationships, it's a little worse, but normal. Any other guy would have been fired for doing something like that. And Conor McGregor was not fired, and that clearly shows that he's getting a title fight soon, or he's getting another big fight. He's getting that 3rd trilogy fight with Nate Diaz or someone like that. But he's got 2 titles he can go after too, because he was the featherweight
champion. I would go
champion.
after both.
But I'm saying it's easier. It's easier for a guy like him, since he kind of deserves to have 2 title fights. He didn't ever lose the titles. The only loss he's had was against Nate Diaz, and he avenged that with a win. So essentially, he's still somewhat undefeated in the UFC. He hasn't lost to any of the opponents he's faced, in a way.
So, for me personally, when I was looking at that Conor McGregor rage last Thursday, and I was looking at the video, and I was just in awe, I was thinking one thing. How much money did Conor McGregor lose to the UFC when he went to go fight Floyd Mayweather?
I don't think UFC pays that well, so I don't think he lost that much money. No, I think boxing.
But how much money did he have to give as a result of him going to box? How much money did he have to go give Dana White? Because if Dana White said, "Hey, you can go fight Floyd Mayweather, but you got to pay me some money from that gross," and it's a significant amount, and Conor McGregor is now getting stripped of his title, that would piss me off. Now, And also, we don't know if Dana White even said anything to Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor just found out on social media or just found out like the rest of us on ESPN or social media or whatnot. So that probably factored into why Conor McGregor had that outrage.
Well, he also was stripped of his title for just inactivity.
Non-competition, right?
Yeah, well, and it seemed like what was funny is the day before that, because there was so many crazy changes in the main event that had nothing to do with Conor McGregor.
6 times.
Yeah, it changed like 6 times, and we'll get into that in a second. But he announced, amongst other things, that Brock Lesnar was going to fight for the UFC again, but he also mentioned that Conor McGregor was going to fight soon. So it was very strange to have Conor McGregor come out and do the stuff he did.
Well, was it strange or was it a ploy? Was it a work? That's
no,
what I keep saying.
I don't think it was a work. A work would have to be kind of between Dana White and I think this was Conor McGregor promoting whatever his next fight is, which he did a good job of. We hadn't talked about Conor McGregor for a long time, and all of a sudden now he was the number one thing to talk about with this pay-per-view. We really should be talking about Rose defending her title and winning again. We should be talking about Khabib dominating Al Iaquinta, who ended up being his opponent, in one of the most dominating title fights I've ever seen. But we're talking about Conor McGregor throwing the dolly at the bus. And that's good promotion. They say all good, what is it, all good...
all promotion is good promotion.
It's
all
not
controversy is good.
That's
good.
not the saying, though. It's all...
Controversy creates cash?
I can't think of it for some reason. But you know what we're talking about.
All publicity is good publicity.
There it is, right there. Yeah. There it is.
Yeah, definitely. Man, it was shocking. And I just showed you a picture, Nick, just like a few seconds ago. There was a title that says right there, Conor McGregor posting pictures with Irish criminals before the
you probably brought him with him.
Bus attack.
Oh yeah. Oh boy. Oh, that was some gangster stuff that Conor McGregor did, and
notorious stuff.
It was like it kind of reminds me of like was it the NWA movie when Ice Cube walks into that dude's place and just starts freaking just beating everything with a baseball bat because he's not giving him his money, and that's what I'm saying. Usually when stuff like this happens, always it's a money thing. It's a money issue. Conor McGregor is having some type of money issue with UFC, and Dana White and them, they be using people. They use them. Right? You saw Ronda Rousey get out of it. She got out of it. Conor McGregor, come on over to the WWE, bro, because you gonna have because they're using you. They're playing you like a fiddle, and once they're done with you, they gonna toss you aside and go to their new instrument.
No, yeah, definitely. If you want to break buses, Connor, you can do that in WWE. You can.
And you won't even get punished for it either. No jail time.
No, you'll just get a matchup.
You can
on Raw that night.
You can handcuff a guy to the ropes and make out with his wife.
Dude, you can get these hands. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Get these hands and make out with the wife.
You can be in the back with the Iconics. You know?
Woo.
There's no chicks in the UFC that look like the Iconics. I'll tell you that right now.
Goodness gracious. Peyton Royce.
Maybe Paige Van Zandt. Maybe.
Peyton Royce is my weakness.
Woo. I couldn't handle myself. I watched SmackDown last night.
She is my weakness.
Oh, I totally forgot.
And on a side note, real quick, pause real quick. I'm sorry to say this, but can we all agree that Peyton Royce is just a bigger star right now than Billie Kay?
I wouldn't say that. I mean, Billie Kay held her own with those promos and stuff.
And it's sad, too, because I like Billie Kay, too, but Peyton Royce is just, she's got the better look. They let her do all the talking. Literally. They let her do all the talking, mostly.
Because she did. That was a damn good promo she hit, though. All the complaining and stuff. It's good. They're good heels. And I like them. I liked them. I didn't even really follow them in NXT, but I'd see stuff on like YouTube and I'd see stuff on Instagram and stuff, and I'd be like, man, I really like these two chicks.
Okay, press play on the current topic.
Yeah, back to UFC.
Let's
play. Talk a little bit. We talked about Conor McGregor. We think what's gonna happen with him. Let's talk a little bit about the two fights. Rose Namajunas goes 5 rounds with Joanna. I'm not gonna say her last name again, because I've said it like 24 times the last couple days.
Isn't that the one with a lot of K's in it?
There's like J's and Z's next to each other and stuff. Okay. Yeah, it's crazy last name. But Rose, hey, she defends her title, and a lot of people thought her first fight with Joanna was a fluke. Joanna was like the champ in the strawweight division, and Rose beats her. It's a lot like Ronda Rousey. Reminded me a little bit of that too. So, I was impressed by Rose. Rose is the clear champion. She seems like I'm not ready to say she's the best women's champion. I still think Amanda Nunes is a beast. But man, Rose really held her own. It'll be interesting to see what they do next. I think we talked about this on your show before Ryan got there, that There is going to be a trilogy fight between these two, but I think their next two opponents should be different opponents. You let Rose see if she can actually defend her title again against somebody else, and you see Joanna, hopefully Joanna just beats the hell out of her next opponent, proves she can have another title fight, and we have a third fight, because this fight was really, really good on Saturday.
No, yeah, definitely. Joanna, she held it out on her own. She endured. And this time, I felt like there was more of a respect that she gave to Rose in the last fight.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I think it might have humbled her. And so for this one, she went at it. And I was impressed by both of them. Of course, I was with Rose on this one. Rose Namajunas, she did do her best. She did her best to throw in all those punches and, kept on the ground. But also at the same time, they all went through 5 rounds. And decision-wise, Rose, she got the better of Joanna again, and so we might see a trilogy. But in the meantime, if we get that trilogy, Rose should fight somebody else, and Joanna should do her own thing. And after that, we can get the trilogy that we've been wanting.
Well, yeah, because it will look like the women's division, at least for strawweight, is kind of slim if they have another fight between Joanna. It'd be dumb.
Yeah,
it wouldn't be a smart move. And then moving on to Ryan, do you want to say something about that fight?
No,
now?
I agree with you. Like Rose was great. We got a trilogy coming up. I'm looking forward to it, and I just think they're missing that star though in the women's division.
Yeah, no, they are.
That
You're right.
Really go mainstream, and casuals like me can just get on the board.
Because Ronda Rousey was like the star of the UFC.
Yeah.
So and then moving on, and just to explain to you, I'll do it real quick. Because we've talked about this a lot. The main event was crazy, and it was crazy because of raging Al Iaquinta finally getting the fight. But it started out with Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson tripped over a production cable, tore his ACL. He got stripped of his title, so he wasn't going to fight.
How strong
then
was that cable?
Then the featherweight title, the featherweight title holder Max Holloway said, "I'll step in." I think he had to gain some weight. "I'll step in. I'll fight Khabib. I'll try to become a double champ." Well, the New York State Athletic Commission said, "We don't think you can you can gain that weight in a healthy manner, so you're not fighting." Then Anthony Pettis' name came up. Then a couple other guys' names came up. And finally, the day before the weigh-in, and an hour, or the day before the event, and an hour before the weigh-in, Dana White announces that Long Island's favorite son and real estate agent, raging Al Iaquinta, is going to get the fight. He was the 11th ranked fighter in the lightweight division. He gets the fight. He put on somewhat of an underdog performance, actually going the distance with Khabib, but it was still dumb. I mean, when you looked at the stats after, it was like, I don't know, it was the most dominating fight I've seen from a UFC fighter, at least in a long time. And then Khabib wins the fight and calls out George St. Pierre after the fight. So I guess that's the next fight we see. I think George St. Pierre is the welterweight or middleweight champion.
I think he's the
he used to be welterweight. I think he might be middleweight
He
now.
might be middleweight. And I remember when he came back, GSP, that was his first fight in 4 years.
Crazy,
He hasn't been fighting in 4 years. And he looked great. He looked great when I saw him. He
Not as great as Khabib.
Looked like he hasn't left at all. They kept himself in shape. So GSP and Khabib, right?
Yeah, that's hopefully it hasn't been announced, but he called him out, and that'd be a great fight.
Yeah.
I still think Khabib's the best fighter. I still think eventually we need to see this Conor McGregor matchup, but nonetheless, it was a good UFC pay-per-view. All the stuff with Conor added to it, and it was a good way to kind of get off the wrestling a little bit, because there was a lot of wrestling to watch. There was a lot of NXT and stuff like that too. So
I remember you were watching the event on your laptop, and then you were watching.
I went from NXT straight to the UFC, and then it was the NHL's final day of the season. There was a lot of playoff matches, so I was watching like 3 different things at once.
Fantastic,
dude! Absolutely, dude. That's what I'm saying. I got it on the laptop illegally. And watch the UFC. Watch the UFC fight.
They're coming for you.
Doesn't matter. I have a great site. If anybody wants to talk to me off mic, I'll to give you the site.
Slide in Nick's DMs.
Exactly. I'll give you the site to watch. It's great. You can watch the Dodgers if you're in LA. You can watch anything. You can stream anything.